Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the Rose House podcast. Here we are with episode 3. Kind of exciting that we're already on episode 3. Time really does fly. I'm your host, Dino. Today we've got CD,
What's up?
we've got Fez, we also got Flash,
What's poppin'?
and last but not least, we got Venge.
What's going on?
Alrighty, podcast time.
Yes, sir. Episode 3. Let's go.
I guess we can start right away and talk a little bit about DBZ Kakarot. That's the first thing on our list right now.
Dude, that game looks like gold. Pure gold.
It does.
It really
Now
does.
I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna be the first one to admit I'm not completely up to date on everything DBZ Kakarot. I'm a little bit behind on the news. I didn't see the latest trailer, but the last bit of information I saw, I think, was the whole Boo Saga bits that they released. And dude, everything I've seen on this game looks phenomenal. And this is coming from somebody, look, I love anime fighting games. I absolutely love anime fighting games. I, played the shit out of Storm 3, played all that stuff. Like Rage and Blast, Budokai 3, everything. So for a game to look this good that's Dragon Ball, that's not a pure fighter or like an arena fighter, I'm super excited because it looks like they're doing it right, because usually if you look at other anime titles like One Piece, they did World Seeker. Fuck World Seeker, right? So it's like they just didn't do it right. This game looks like they're doing it right, dude, and I'm so excited. Everything from the graphics to gameplay, it just looks phenomenal. That's just my quick thoughts on it. Before we get too in depth, I'll go ahead and pass it over to somebody else.
That trailer was super hype.
Oh, yeah, you did see
I'm
the
not
trailer.
gonna lie.
Yeah. You did see it.
Yeah, the trailer was so good. It made me like literally think of like old school DBZ, like back in the day. That bruh, like
I'm about
man,
to watch it right now.
I literally no lie. It caught me in the feels. Like I was like, man, it felt like I was actually watching the beginning of the show of back in the day. I mean, it was like a 2-minute trailer, but I mean, I didn't care about the fighting styles in it. Like as of right now, I care less because of the cutscenes. The cutscenes, no lie, are winning me over more than anything right now because of what they're covering. But we've already had this little bit of a discussion about like if they don't finish it, I'm gonna be super mad. But they better, they better deliver, dude.
Finish what exactly? What? Just go in a little bit of detail as far as like what do you mean by finishing what exactly? Just to for the people in the chat and audience.
Yeah, well, basically what I mean is there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z games that only cover certain areas and certain parts of the story. All right, there's never been like a game that's like, oh yeah, let me start at DBZ and let's just bring it all the way to the Boo Saga and actually make it a complete story.
Right.
But no, there's been other games that have been utterly swept under the rug. And honestly, I think if they do it with this, man, I might have to. I don't even care, man. I'll buy everything on that game. Like I'll straight up, I'll invest my whole wallet into that game if it's legit like that.
Yeah, the game looks really nice. Go ahead, Van. Go ahead.
Oh no! Oh, it's cool. You can finish if you want.
No, because I'm gonna go in a little bit more detail in a little bit, so you can go ahead and get your thoughts out.
All right, got you. So I'm gonna piggyback off of what Fez was saying. That's why I kind of like jumped in real quick. So, yeah, that is a very important thing. Like, how much are they gonna cover? And you know how a lot of people is complaining about, oh, but it's the same thing, but it hasn't been done quite like this. Very impressive. My only concern at this point, but especially me being highly judgmental of like anime games as a whole, because like there have been a lot of instances when it comes to games like these where it's always half-assed, if I say so myself.
That's true.
Especially in terms of the way Namco Bandai handles DLC, pressures developers to you know, say, hey, we got to have either some kind of DLC or season pass, especially when looking at World Seeker. And I feel like that's one of the bigger reasons why World Seeker did as bad as it did. I feel like World Seeker would have done better if they would have just had the characters already in the game instead of just saving them as DLC like that. It's like almost like a move to save face, but not save face. It's like they planned this from the start to try to extend the life of the game by like throwing it up and hoping that they get more revenue from that. But once again, it's like if a story game, especially a game that's more about story, and you don't have that content to really back it up from the start, and then you fail to add DL, like let's say they just make the game, right? And they leave stuff out intentionally and save it for later. But that's the problem with a single player game. You can't do that because you want to have as much content as you can so people really feel invested in the game. And so if you leave it out right at the start and then just throw it in everybody's faces, that's just gonna make the matter worse. So like my hope is that that's not gonna happen with Kakarot. And honestly, I feel like that's not going to happen, especially based on what I've seen from the trailer, some of the gameplay elements that I've seen. They made the smart choice by saying that this game is not going to be that type of game where only Goku is playable. And I feel like that was huge for them.
Yeah, you brought up a good point as far as like you just said, Goku not being the only playable character and just playing throughout the game. That's a good addition to Kakarot and brings a little bit of just a different pace and change of things that we used to when playing this game. So it's gonna be nice to add in, and I think depending on some of the interactions too. I remember seeing or dealing with like one of the trailers or whatnot early on with Kakarot. You get like different interactions from or references from Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball anime, which is nice. But one thing that kind of scares me if we're going to go ahead and get into some of the skepticisms and such, Dino can attest to this. We talk about this for days on end. Is just the fact that it's only covering up to the Boo arc, and it feel like it's been done so much. You can really add on to the game throughout the content of anime, because you have you have arcs like GT, you have Super you can add on and stuff like that hasn't really been done yet per se. And only going from from the 4 arcs that we mainly know, it can get pretty dull, and I can see why people are not really gonna worry about this game as much, no matter how clean it looks or how good it looks or it might play. Just the story alone can it can stir people away just because of it's stuff that we already know. So it's one of my skepticisms.
Right. So one of the things that you mentioned too is it's only to the Boo arc, and there's just so much to Dragon Ball. There's the movies, there's GT, Super, all that. I mean, they did that partially in the past with 10K ET3. They did a really good job with that in terms of all the characters and stuff. They did a lot in that game in terms of that. Obviously the gameplay though wasn't crazy good, but I mean, either or, there was a huge roster for it, and it showed more appreciation for almost a ton of characters. It's 150 character roster. So I don't know. I mean, the story, that's cool. It looks fresh, DBZ Kakarot from the trailers, because they put out multiple trailers for this thing. It looks really, really good. It's just the thing is it's ending at the Boo arc, it looks like, because they didn't show us anything outside of that.
Right.
Anything Janemba or something. So I don't know. There's no thing that's saying, hey, we're adding more than just what you guys are thinking right now. But it seems like that's the extent.
Here's the thing, it's a Dragon Ball game. They're not gonna skip off on DLC for something as big as Dragon Ball.
And it's Bandai. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Bandai straight up, and they're doing that with story games, as we can see with World Seeker, they're still adding story content to World Seeker, which blows my mind. So I without a doubt they will be adding to this game. It's so huge
Oh, you
that
think they'll update it?
I think they'll put out some paid content for sure.
Oh,
Like Dragon Ball is their most selling game right now, or their franchise or whatever under Bandai. Like that IP makes them so much money, and they're definitely gonna put out DLC. And to be honest with you, dude, like as glorious as this game looks, I will forever say that a game like this, but with Dragon Ball content, would be my ideal freaking Dragon Ball game, dude. Like, as much as I want like GT or Super in this game, if they add like anything Dragon Ball related into this game, like apart from just the NPCs that you talk to, like I will die. I will be happy forever. But no, for sure, they're definitely going to add more to this game. I mean, there's enough already. Don't get me wrong. This game's going to be amazing to play through. But without a doubt, they're going to be adding more, especially with all the super content that they have to work with and stuff like that. They're not going to miss out on this chance to rob our wallets. It's Bandai. Let's be honest.
I mean, in the past, like I have some other games too. I think it was called Super Dragon Ball or something, but they stopped at like Cell.
Wow.
Right.
It was like some mini game. Like it wasn't a main game.
Oh,
It was like kind of those side games. It was Dragon Ball.
Right.
You know, so
I think I remember that. Wasn't it on PS2?
yeah,
Yeah.
It was rarely
Or Infinite World or something like that.
well, Infinite World is actually a little bit more than that. But this other
Yeah.
thing was like literally like you know how Dragon Ball Fighters has those lobby characters?
Yep.
There was literally a game that was just like that. Like a game, like them fighting that looks like that.
Wait,
Like-
was it for the PS1?
No, it definitely was for the PS2.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look up the name.
Isn't that like is that the one that you
I know.
can actually play at the arcade? Because I remember seeing something like that.
I feel like I know the one Scott's talking about.
Oh,
like all
it's
the
called
battle-
Super Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's the one you can
Super
play at
Dragon
the
Ball Z. Yeah,
arcade.
that thing had like no characters whatsoever.
They have very few.
None.
Super Dragon
Now,
Ball
one
Z.
thing that I will add about the whole DLC thing, I feel like based on what they do have, it goes all the way up to the Boo arc. And if they include the majority of everything that happened in those arcs, if they do include DLC, I feel like it would be actually good DLC. Kind of like how, because like my opinion about DLC is that if they do it the right way, you know, there would be no problems. Kind of like look back at, you know, Dragon Ball Fighters, right? And the way they've been handling DLC. I feel like in some points it was kind of meh, especially with the including freaking base form Goku and Vegeta. I just found that kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that, all of the other DLC that they did include, that was actually smart. Especially the super ones, like bringing those together. They even went as far as extending Xenoverse 2 using the super characters. So if they was to do something like a super arc or something like that, that would actually be really good for Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball Kakarot game. I feel like that would really be perfect for this game in terms of DLC, because you can do it a good way, you can do it a bad way. Now I'll tell you this. Now if they stopped at the Cell Saga, and then you're not getting that much content, and then everything else is DLC, okay, that's freaking bad. Because if you look at all the majority of the Dragon Ball games, they usually, for the most part, really stop at the Boo arc, and maybe they'll give you a few side missions for like movie characters and stuff like that, kind of like with Dragon Ball Budokai 3 with the inclusion of Broly and Cooler and all of that.
Well, I think like because the whole thing for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is you play as the hero. So, and they have all the core heroes from what I've seen
Right.
playable and swappable for, you know, supports and stuff like that through the story from the Cell Saga to the Boo Saga. To me, that right there is a complete Dragon Ball game. And anything else, I'm fine. Like I'm fine with Cell Arc through, or not Cell Arc, sorry, Saiyan Arc through Boo Arc. That to me, as long as that's there and not DLC, whatever they release is good. All I need for DLC, if they want to release it, is obviously some dialogue, possibly some cutscenes, give us an enemy to fight for like a boss, and then give us a new playable character for that. Like, so if they do like a Brawly DLC, right, give us Brawly as a villain to fight, give us some dialogue, and then give us Gogeta, right?
Okay.
Like, you know, something like that. Like, they don't have to go super in depth, just give us that extra bit of content, and don't overly price us, even though it's Bandai, you never know. But you know what I mean, just give us little things like that that would push us. I mean, obviously the community shouldn't be asking for playable villains in this game. If they are, they're stupid. No offense to anybody out there, but this is a hero game. This is a hero game.
You're right.
So, you know, let's focus on the heroes here. And really, they could do so much, man. Like, if they wanted to add movies as well as Super, they could even go the route as adding Janemba and Brawly in the same pack if they wanted to, and then just give us Gogeta.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because-
that is a pretty interesting idea. I just me personally, being I've been a DBZ fan since, you know, like the mid 90s, you know, type deal. I feel old.
Dude,
So, yeah, trust me, you weren't even born when I was watching this crap on TV, you know what I mean? And it looks, and on the real, like back then, like the story was so good that they just kept rerunning it.
dude, like,
Don't know that, but I mean, as somebody that actually watched the show and knows the story, all right, they better have everything if they're talking about Kakarot, okay? Because he officially, ends himself at Cell, right? But he still has an impact during the Boo Saga. So it has to cover everything that he does, which will be certain events. And if those are not free, I swear to God, we are in almost 2020. They should have gotten this right by now, all right? If I want to play the game, let me play the whole fucking game, all right? I don't want to play just part of it. I want to play the whole fucking game. All right, it's my game. I paid the $60 for it. Let me play the whole game. I shouldn't have to pay for
Let's
it.
just hope it's not Jump Force.
Please, God,
oh,
not
no,
Jump Force.
Dude, don't mention Jump Force. What?
I don't think it's gonna be that bad though. It's definitely not
Better
gonna be.
not.
It's definitely not gonna be Jump Force
I'm a
tier.
jumper.
Like,
if you've guys read the title of the stream, we're not on that topic yet, but just imagine Jump Force being the Nick Cannon of anime games.
Well, it's over.
like just,
It'll be
just
like,
imagine that,
like,
dude.
what's that game?
Like, that game will probably, like, dude, more people talk about J Stars than they do Jump Force
That's pretty.
now, and Jump Force is new, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, J Stars was pretty decent and fun for its time. It was never a game to be taken seriously, but when they took Jump Force and they're like, let's try to turn that into something. I mean, sorry, J Stars, and then Jump Force is just trash. I don't even want to talk about that.
That's a
Oh,
topic for another day.
Dude, that
When I
game
went-
hurts my feelings. Like
on the real, it looked okay, like at first glance because they had like little, little spots for it at PAX, right? And it didn't come out yet, but like seeing the people that were playing it, yeah, people were playing it at first. So I guess your impression was, man, that they wanted that game when it came out, or was about to come out, you know? I didn't like it because I don't like the fighting style. I think it's just nah.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say this. Like, playing with an open beta, it looked like it had some type of promise. And I was like, okay, because I played open beta, a closed beta, closed beta. And I was like, okay, this game has promise. This might, it might do a little something. Come around the open beta, have all these issues. I was like, all right, this about to be a flop. And from then on in, it's been just that. It's been jump flop. So
Yeah,
glad I missed
they
out on that.
fucked it up. It's just, they
And,
just slap shit together like a
Yeah.
freaking $1 cheeseburger.
And and seriously, like they weren't thinking about it in like a broader range either, because like they can literally make this game and then make a VR version So you're actually Kakarot doing this shit to, you know, the next motherfucker that fucks with you on the street. You know, you can be Kakarot for a second like that, you know?
Right.
Dude, I'm telling you, they better not screw us on DLC for this game. Like, so far, I haven't seen anything that's missing, right? But like, if something is missing that should not be missing in Kakarot, that's DLC. That's dead ass like McDonald's charging extra for pickles. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, they're like, oh, you want pickles and mustard on your burger? That'll be $10 more, please. It's like that should have been on the fucking burger to begin with, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on, you know, it's one of those things. I feel like they're actually giving us a good game with this one, but see, I've thought that so many times, so my hopes are not high.
Right.
As a Bandai Namco fan for years, I threw up a little bit saying that. So, you know, as an anime fan and stuff like that, I have come to the conclusion that you can never get your hypes and hopes up for an anime title from Bandai Namco. As much as I have enjoyed games from Bandai Namco, don't get me wrong, but that is only after I've put my salt in the wounds and just taken a deep breath and enjoyed it for what it is, not what it should be.
Right.
And that's just one of those things. So, if this game comes out and it actually is as good as it looks, then I will be one happy camper. I
mean,
will be.
Dragon Ball Fighters is okay.
Yeah.
Fighters, okay. Fighters is different. The only reason that I don't complain on how dirty they did Fighters is because it's a real fighting game. That's
Right.
the only reason, because they did it dirty with the DLC, with half the DLC.
Like the base forms.
Yeah, so like they did us dirty with the characters on there. The only reason I'm not mad is because they all play differently, and they're not just, you know, characters, and they're actually worth the money regardless of what they are. They all play their own way, so I'm not mad about that. But if this was a game like Xenoverse, sorry, if this was a game like Xenoverse and they put base form Goku as DLC, dude, I would have flipped my shit.
Yeah, that
I
would be bad.
Dude, base form GT Goku as DLC, I would have flipped my shit. But you know, that's besides the point. Fighters is its own thing because I think it's crossed over to the line of competitive, and I think Fighters is a great game. It's not your average anime game, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
a lot of anime
I
people
count
drop
Fighters
that
as
game
its
like
own
bad game.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I'm sorry, but every time we mention Bandai Namco, I'm gonna have to just, if you guys are watching Bandai Namco, just remember you screwed me over. I would not let you forget.
Oh,
I will never get to.
I will not forget this.
Man, what in the world?
man took a mean shot with a
Dude.
double barrel.
Dude,
You hear that, Namco?
dude, I'm gonna be completely honest. I love Bandai. I have a love and hate relationship with Bandai. I buy a lot of Bandai's games. I've played and covered a lot of Bandai's games. I enjoy a lot of Bandai's games, but I'm not blind to Bandai's bullshit.
Of course
You know
not.
what I'm
You
saying?
can't.
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, you ever buy their action figures, man? You ever buy their figures?
dude, I
They're
will
bullshit too.
be the first. I will be the first one to come out and say I don't hop on trains, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a game's really good and everybody's, riding it and, saying, oh, it's great, but I think it's shit, I'm gonna say it's shit. If everybody's hating on something I think is good, I'm gonna let you know I think it's good. And that's just how I am with games, man. And I will be the first to let y'all know whether or not I think Fighters is worth the 60 bones. Shout out to the gamer 2323.
Yo.
But
Can we get
it's
that
like
lawnmower laugh?
I can't do it. But you know what I'm saying? So I really hope this game is as appealing and fun as it looks, dude, because they're doing a really great job with marketing. They're doing a really great job with how they're piecing the trailers together, and the art looks amazing. The animation on it looks amazing. Just the characters, everything looks great. All I'm saying is I hope that the gift is as good as the packaging.
Yeah, I just wish for this longevity. Like at this point, DLC is fine. Like personally, I would hope have everything and the additional stuff in there day one. But I can really understand with like some stuff. It's dealing with games nowadays is like really strict deadlines and such. So you got to put that into an account. So at least just with DLC, like good DLC to keep the game going would be nice. I just want longevity with this game. I'm not trying to have like a quick cash scheme type thing with this game because it has a lot of promise with this. So only thing I really just wish is longevity some type of way, because everything else is fine. I'm just worried about the longevity part of it. So
like I know this is completely different from Kakarot, but it's like I'm gonna kind of treat it the same way. So you got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That game is magnificent. It's a story-based game like Kakarot is, but once you get to the end, apparently they don't have DLC plans for it. I played it through one time. That's just what I've heard. I played it through one time. It was a great experience, dude. I haven't opened the game back up, and I really want this game to be something that I can play it through. I can grind, my character up, have fun, but also I want it to be something I can come back. When you have a game this, graphically pleasing and well done, you want to be able to come back to it. And it's like even if it's not something that you can play for a year round, it's not one of those types of games. You just hope that if they give you a good base game for once, that they continue. It's like it's like sometimes when you don't think you want DLC for a game, you just want them to work on the next thing. They overload you with DLC, but when you actually want it, they're like, like, they better do something good, man.
I mean, speaking of like the DLC type deal, like they should have just the whole game. And if there's like the spin-offs, every movie, no lie, is criterially, like in theory, a spin-off of the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's its own separate thing. So I'd be like, yeah, I could add like a 3-movie thing in there for $6.99 or $7.99 type deal for a DLC type thing. Yeah, I'd understand that. Or adding the GT saga, for $15 or something like that, or super add-on type deal. Because I mean, to be honest with you, Super has nothing to do with what happened in Z. Like, I'll be honest with you.
Right? No, yeah, that would just be like, be like dope content.
And for all of the people that don't know and understand the old folklore on it, Goku actually died in GT. Okay, and if you guys look at the last movie that was in GT, all right, Goku wasn't around. It was Goku's grandson or something like that. It was Pan's grandson. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, and it was like 100 years after the whole fact of the matter of everything that happened. So in theory, Goku died right there. So everything you're seeing in Super and everything after that is kind of like, oh yeah, they can do whatever they want. I know where the story is, and it's with Kakarot.
Dino, what about you? Any final thoughts on that?
No, I mean, we'll just see how the game is.
Right.
What we can say.
Comes out January 17th, by the way, for those who are looking out for it. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I'll definitely be. It's not one of those I want to go to GameStop and get it. Screw that. We're past that. I'll be downloading it onto my hard drive on my PS4. Day one. I don't think it's. I don't want to go to GameStop anymore for a hard copy of an anime game. Because then I want to take it back and. I'm gonna just download it and make myself give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much that. If anybody doesn't have anything else to say, what about what's our next topic?
This freaking Nick Cannon Eminem bull. Oh my lord.
Let's just hope Kakarot doesn't flop like this guy.
With the boy hand, but you can't see him doing the boy hand right.
Dude, I am way too much up to date on this Nick Cannon shit than I should be. Like, I have been following this shit to the T. Like, a lot of
Because you're
people,
a
a lot of
roaster.
people, a lot of people don't know this. I am a huge fan of hip hop. Well, a lot of people do know that, but like they don't know how deep and I dive into it. Nick Cannon, I highly doubt you're watching this or listening in, but you done fucked up. You done fucked up. You done poked the damn wasp nest because you best believe, dude, you best believe if M hasn't responded yet, which he hasn't, you are going to hear from M, and it's either going to be on his album, it's going to be on a disc that's going to come out of nowhere like dude, I swear to God, if he puts out a Merry Christmas Nick diss
Yikes.
track
I could see that coming.
and ruins his holiday, dude, can you imagine?
He's already dead. He's
Dude.
done. You're done.
man.
It's like Nick, not only did your wife leave you, but your fan base about to leave you too, for whatever that counts for.
Does he even have a fan base? What do you mean?
Dude,
Barely.
surprisingly,
does.
he's got some
What?
sort of one.
All the Nickelodeon people, man.
Dude,
Yikes!
I want to let you know. I want to let you know that when he dropped that first one, and I heard him speak on M's daughter and his wife in the same track.
Oh, that's a rap, dog.
Dude, I was like, you just did the top two things that they tell every rapper in the game not to do. Like, I'm telling you, like, every studio, when a rapper comes on the scene, they're like, look, this is what you don't do. Two of those things in the top 5 is don't fuck with M's wife, don't fuck with M's daughter. Dude, I'm telling you right now, it is over. And if you guys don't know, he got Suge Knight on that shit too, dude. For those of you that don't know, Suge Knight is freaking wild, dude. And they have problems with him in the streets.
Dude is in
Back
jail
in the day.
spitting bars. That's funny.
Dude, 50 Cent.
He's
50
literally-
Cent.
Look at that idiot too.
I've seen screenshots. 50 Cent went on social media and was like, you brought Suge Knight on here? Dude, it's some gang shit now. I will pull up and gun you down type of thing. That is, I saw everywhere that 50 Cent came out and posted that, and it's getting real. Like, the fact that 50 Cent's involved, Obi Trice is involved. For those of you that don't know, Obi Trice hopped on a track with M for a diss track years ago that was flames with DMX. I'm sorry, I'm a real hip hop like egghead here. So,
Even
but,
Joyner
like,
Lucas.
dude,
Everybody's coming out the woodwork for him, dude.
it's crazy. It's nuts.
You're right though, but on the real, what he did though, straight up, as soon as he dropped that, it was bad. It made him look bad, and then he drops the second one, and it's like, I don't even think we can even take you serious anymore, Nickelodeon. we can't take you serious anymore, Drumline.
Nick
Bro,
at Night.
Yeah,
Nick
straight
and
up.
Night. Why you
What's
hitting
the
him
last
with
rule in
that?
the rule
I
book?
don't even know if that many people in here know what that is.
Dude, I'm sorry, but the moment M went on Twitter, he didn't even have to put a diss track or nothing. The moment M went on Twitter and called this man Nicholas, he cut his nuts off right there. He cut his nuts off right there. Freaking
Nicholas,
Nick
you're making
Cannon
my gardener
responded with,
jealous.
Yes, M. Like, that's how he's responded now. Dude, he made Nick his bitch with one tweet.
That's
And it's like,
ridiculous.
it's nuts. And no, Nick didn't do good enough for a diss.
No.
But for somebody so persistent, for 3 tracks plus, here's the reason I think 3 tracks plus their past history, plus the fact that he's got all these new battle rappers on here that don't know the consequences that come with hitting with M, right? Like, M at this point has to say something somewhere, because if he doesn't, that's gonna make everybody think, okay, it's fine to fuck with M now, because M is that's all his image has been in rap. Like, if you come at me, you speak on my seed, you speak on my ex-wife, anything, you're fucking dead. And it's like, not literally, but lyrically, and that's what he's done to everybody. And if he lets these new battle rappers slide on trashing this man, because there was a couple lines that they had, not Nick, but the battle rappers, that, you know, that definitely hit. They weren't, you know, deep hits or anything, but they definitely hit the mark. And if he lets them slide with that, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. But he's got to say something, dude.
He
Oh,
always
he will eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
You already know he will. The thing is, I mean, the acknowledgement of it, it's kind of like you brush it off because he already knows. Man, Nick ain't shit, but now, I mean, he's bringing up what Nick Cannon is initially doing, all right? He's bringing up old news to make himself famous, all right? It's like MGK said something, right? But then, like, the reason why MGK said something was because he heard him on his, newest album. So, yeah, he responded quick. Nick Cannon took 10 years almost.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And the thing is, he's bringing himself into the Mariah Carey thing where, on the real, like, Nick, know your role, buddy, and know that, Mariah was fucking with M way before you were even a thought, Drumline. You feel me?
Yeah. So basically,
You know
he already dipped the net.
No,
Yeah.
And he getting the leftover.
Well, it's not even that. It's more or less like kind of like personal shit. Like if I'm sitting here spitting a rap about somebody, I'm spitting it about them. You on the sideline, I don't care if you're married to her or not. Don't be getting involved, because that was something that me and her were going back and forth, and we still are going back and forth. So just let us handle what we got to do, and you just sit it out. And all Nick Cannon did was make himself look like a little pussy.
Here's what gets me, dude. Nick Cannon, if you really want to dive into the facts, Nick Cannon has been so hypocritical on these tracks. So like he's coming at M for being obsessed with Mariah. Nick, all of his bars have been directly towards Mariah and M. So not only has Nick brought up Mariah so than M has in the past few years, then, in like one track. So you got that. And then you got him calling M old. Everybody's calling M old. But then Nick was just married to Mariah. Mariah's like 50 in March. Older than M. Like, are we gonna forget that this man wasn't married to a quote unquote cougar? And he's you know what I'm saying? And then he's gonna come at M for his age. It's like, dude, you had a kid with a woman older than the I don't get it. I mean, it's just like everything that Nick has said is just like swept under the rug. Like nothing that he said hit.
No, on the real, like if you looked at him in his videos, he looked like he smoked too much weed and didn't get enough sleep because of everything that's going on in his head. Yeah. He looks like he's stressing himself out. He looks older than what he looks. You know what I'm saying?
Dude sounded like he was making a 911. Like literally, he was whispering. His whole track was whispered.
No, the one thing that got me was he used M's lyrics as his chorus.
Dude, that was
tries to make it look
like that's corny.
Yeah. Black bitch. What it's like black bitches are dumb, black bitches are bitches or whatever. Like I don't even know, man. All I know is that he was using the M shit, but taking it totally out of context, I guess, in general. But it's like, bro.
It was embarrassing. He embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's nuts. I've never seen somebody dig their own grave and then that. Like, I mean, I've seen rappers put themselves in positions to where somebody else pushed them in it, but I've never seen somebody go, well, it's time to die.
But I'm just saying though, how you gonna? I'm just saying, ask this to the whole chat, to everyone watching. How you gonna send the invitation, right? And then a week later, cancel the invitation.
That's terrible. Oh my god.
How you gonna do that?
Dude, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Family Guy episode where he comes downstairs and he's like, "Hey, Lois, what are you doing?" Butt club, Peter. He's like, "Oh, okay." Snaps his own neck.
Oh yeah.
That's literally Nick Cannon. He comes down, "Hey, Em, what are you doing? Making money? Oh, okay."
And you know what? The thing that I hate about this whole thing, and you kind of like you guys touched on it when he was talking about the whole racism thing and him being hypocritical. One thing that I cannot stand is cause see, I'm black, right? And one of the things that I hate, now I'm not trying to generalize or be that guy, but I'm kind of gonna have to be that guy. One thing that I hate about my fellow African Americans is when they use those classic cliche tired lines about somebody trying to be black. Because here's the funny thing, especially after watching M's documentary a while ago, this dude isn't trying to be black. He literally got up there using his own style that was far unique. Like, when you compare this style back in the day to everyone else's, it was extremely unique. And not only that, this dude gained the respect of so many people. And not only that, people fear him. They fear his lyrical prowess. This dude isn't trying to be black. He did it his way. I mean, he literally poked fun of himself in a lot of his earlier tracks, and people related to that. Like, he made it his own to the point where other people respected him. Busta Rhymes had a lot of, good things to say about him, especially when he was on the same stage as him. It's just mind blowing, and to see Nick Cannon use such tired lines like that, and even calling this dude Vanilla Ice, the new Vanilla Ice, and this dude literally called himself the new Pac.
Get shot! Get shot, new Pac!
He did not say that.
He
This
did.
dude
He did.
literally.
Can I just jump
He
off
is
the
not the
balcony?
new Pac. He just turned himself into his own internal apocalypse. If you catch my drift on that.
Well, hey, at least you guys know how black you are, and this motherfucker right here is sitting there goddamn disgracing every bit of it. Because Tupac, I'll tell you straight up, he stood for something for blacks, and you know that. You know that just about as hard as anybody else. He was like that one piece of truth that was out there, and he was speaking it, and everybody, you know what I'm saying, recognized it, you know? That's Pac, but Nick Cannon, no, he doesn't speak truth. He's not hilarious. And straight up, fuck you, son. We ain't fuck Nick Cannon, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I'll say this. It's like T.I. said it best in the interview with Nick Cannon, matter of fact, is that crazy white boy energy. you know what I'm saying? he literally, he said it best. That's what M has. He's not trying to be black. He's not trying to be anybody else. When he raps, you can feel that crazy white boy energy. And I mean, I can say that I'm white. I mean, we crazy. It's like literally, it makes the most sense. It's like he's not trying to be anything, and that's all these rappers try to do is hit him with that comment, and it's crazy to me. I mean, you also got to remember, you got Eminem lost his best friend a couple years ago. Early 2000s, I believe. Proof. If you guys listen to any of M's old music, D12, anything like that, rest in peace, Proof. He talks about him and holds him so high to this day, dude. We're in 2019. He still builds this man up and holds him on a pedestal, his best friend, and he was black. If M was racist, M would not be doing that.
Yep.
I mean, he wouldn't have signed 50 Cent. Dude, 50 Cent has literally said that M has saved his life and changed it. If M was racist, he wouldn't have done that.
That's true.
Dr. Dre being someone, Dr. Dre, someone who literally, I'm not going to say what it stands for, y'all should know, literally helped create the NWA. Someone who stands for what he stood for would not have signed M if M was racist.
Yeah, like he's bringing up like he's bringing up bullshit in about to be 2020, and you know, we all know Nick Cannon is older than me. He's around your age or a little bit older, ain't he? Should be older.
I think Nick Cannon's like 37.
Yeah, that's
too
what I'm
damn
saying.
old
Yeah,
to be doing
I
all
thought
that.
just saying,
with
he's too
age,
damn
you're
old
supposed to grow wiser.
You would
And
think,
then
Vinge.
No, he's 39.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
he's 39, but still.
That's even worse.
if you've seen that second verse of that song, he did nothing but put black profiled figures that were like predominant in pop culture or any sort of historical with African Americans. All right, he was literally throwing that in there as if he pulled up the race card. All right, it's a diss track. All right, supposed to diss the person, not throw historical facts.
Yep. It's like it's nuts. Everything he said, and I mean, I guess that's like why he doesn't feel like he should respond, maybe, is because none of it is facts. But at the same time, you look at somebody like MGK, none of his was facts. I mean, the only thing is MGK just had a better track, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but nothing he said was enough to take M down, you know?
Right.
It's like, so M didn't have to respond to MGK either. But I think the whole thing with that is, you know, they already went back and forth, and that had a years build up as well. I mean, you can go look that up, and we're not going to get into that. But it's like with something with Nick Cannon, I think just the history alone, and then him mentioning his family on multiple occasions and bringing these new rappers, I feel like that alone is at least enough for M to speak on in his new album whenever he drops it. But it's just, can somebody look? And when I say this, I don't mean kill Nick Cannon. I don't want him dead. I mean, like, on the business side, like, can somebody
His
just kill
career
this
is
man?
gone.
Like, his career. Can somebody kill this man's career? Like, whatever. Like,
Man's
no.
on a 360, no scope, all of them.
No, because here's the thing. I mean, you can say what you want about Nick Cannon. His career is not dead. His rap career, maybe, but can somebody, like, literally Benzino the fuck out this man? Please? like,
It's, no, but it's kind of unfortunate because he's done all this stuff. Like, he did the Nickelodeon thing, he did the Wild Now. Like, he did a lot of stuff, you know?
he's
Right.
still the chairman of Nickelodeon, dude. Like,
What? Wait.
If
Yeah.
I'm not
Repeat
mistaken,
that?
I'm pretty
He's-
sure.
I
he's
didn't
still
know
the
that.
chairman of Teen Nick. He's not on it, but he's still over a whole bunch of stuff.
Then
Interesting.
what is he doing
He's
all
about-
this dumb crap?
He
How
committed
can a
his
rapper
own.
be
Anyway.
ahead of freak Nickelodeon?
Like
What?
one of his bars was like back then you were messing with Nickelodeon Nick, and now this is like they're saying it's a different Nick. It's like, dude, it's still Nickelodeon
It's
Nick.
Still his
It's like-
name is in it, bruh. You can't run from that.
No.
You
Dude,
can't run from that.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing. It's like everybody M is dissed, their career's gone, except for MGK. MGK's got enough talent to, like, he can get his fan base going. I think Eminem put like a cap on MGK, right? But like he can't really get that big. But you know, as far as Nick has done it himself. it's like M hasn't even
Yes.
like it's just nuts. I mean, but you got all this stuff. I want somebody to really Benzino the fuck out of Nick, please. Like, make it to where like nobody wants this dude. Like, I'm talking about with what Nick has tried to do for clout. I'm a very mean person when it comes to this. If I see somebody doing what Nick's trying to do, I hope he's homeless, dude. I want, like, literally get destroyed. I don't want you on TV. I don't want to see you on my screen. I don't want to see you in my YouTube notifications to my. I don't want to see anybody mention Nick Cannon's name. Like, that's why I think that's why I want him to respond, because he needs to be on that level. The fact that Nick Cannon has no business talking about him at this point.
Being the CEO of Nickelodeon, bro, man, what don't you supposed to have a family-friendly badge to be running Nickelodeon, bro?
No.
Well, see, here's the ridiculous thing, dude. And so many people are not keeping up to date with the story. They think, okay, M just dropped this song and talked about Nick Cannon, and so M started it. No, Nick went on an interview with T.I. and started trashing the shit out of M. M saw it and responded on a track, because M doesn't do interviews. He's not a gossip queen. He'll literally just straight up go on a track and be like, look, fuck you. And he'll make money doing it. And that, I can respect that, because he's the craft of hip hop for it. So it's like, that's the only thing. Nick dug his own grave when he got on there. He made the tracks, and that's his way of crawling into it. Well, guess what, M, you need to come with the shovel, grab it from MGK's music video, and scoop the dirt on that motherfucker right now, please. It's like, we need that right now. That's all I gotta say. I'm very biased. I love M, but I mean, I think anybody at this point, I don't think it's even possible to be biased against M with how good he is at this point.
I think
he literally turned. He's a legend. Nobody.
But you'll never be a legend. I'm sorry.
They can't contest with this dude. I mean, M has murdered so many people lyrically. This dude can come out of a damn hiatus. Oh, I just cursed. Oh, he just came out of a. I said it already. He came out of a hiatus and just blowing up. I mean, he could just come out of nowhere and blow up. Venom. I'm addicted to his Venom track.
Yeah.
So heavy. And then he comes out of nowhere and just destroys somebody and is already back on the map. I mean, that's just how talented he is. I mean, like, who else can do that? Really, who else can do that? You don't see a whole lot of other MCs literally just coming out of nowhere. Maybe like 10 years ago. And come out of nowhere and do that.
Yeah, Nick Cannon ain't no rapper, man. Come on,
You know, in
man.
10 years, this is what I see. I see Venge as the chairman of Nickelodeon.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Hey, he's got the family-friendly badge, right?
I got to polish up my damn it family-friendly badge, though. I got to do that first so that I can get back up there. You need family-friendly goodness over here, okay? But you know what? To keep Nickelodeon on the map, though, you got to get Tsunami, though. You got to have some After Dark spit, too. So Vengelodeon, yes.
I know. So, see, this is just a topic I'm very passionate about. I'm talking.
Yeah, this one.
I mean, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time.
No, remember
about it.
But
I
like,
was saying this right before we started. I was like, we made a diss track and on the real, like that. I'm just saying that beats down any Nick Cannon material hardcore, and we don't even do this. Dude. I mean, come on, he didn't send nothing straight, no facts in what he was saying. And he was straight doo-doo garbage, and his peoples were garbage. Like, come on, man, you don't, man. And then man, come on, Invitation, man, you should have ripped it up and threw it out and not even publicly addressed it, my guy. You killing me over here.
Like, drop the proof.
Stick to movies.
Drop that diss track in here.
No, like, dude, literally, Nick died almost before he even started rapping on his first track. Like, I'm just gonna say this right now. Suge Knight came on and said, Eminem, whatever your name is, I'm sorry. I know you've been locked up and under a rock, Suge. But everybody knows who the fuck Eminem is. Especially somebody with the connects he has and the influence that he has, even though it's not a very positive influence. You know who the fuck Eminem is, and don't hop on a song acting like you don't. Like, more people know who he is than they know who you are. I'm sorry.
He's locked up.
Then he's like, but Nick is family. Okay. And then they got a chorus that has no idea. Dude, the chorus has nothing to do with the song. It's literally about money everywhere and like talking about women. So they just dug a chorus out the damn archives to throw on this shit. Like the chorus sounded good. I like the chorus. It was catchy, but it has nothing to do with the track. Therefore, I subtract 10 points immediately. And then when Nick hops on, dude, it's like he goes, I fuck with crack, but the white boy, he fucks with crack. What the fuck is that, dude? Are you, dude, I can write better than that. Are you kidding me, Nick? It's like, not only is that a whack line, but the man is like 8 years sober, at least. It's like, are you really gonna talk about some shit that's almost a decade old? He doesn't even do drugs anymore. It's like, okay, that hit. So let's talk about his family. Are you kidding? Then he's like, this is gonna take a page out of Drake's book and get a Grammy. I ain't even gonna mention nothing else. The fact that he said that, he ended his own life in his first track and he dropped 3 of them bitches.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Suge Knight, all right, he's been in jail since 2015, all right? He must have not heard anything, the new album or whatever. I guess they don't have that radio station in jail. All right, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be in jail for the next 25 years, at least the next 20 to 25 years.
You're right.
All right? So, regardless of how he feels and how he's going to talk, bro, you ain't going nowhere, man. Just sit your damn washed up ass in that damn cell and eat that damn dried up ass fucking cornbread.
Nah, eat them honey buns,
Fuck
boy. The freak.
No, he ain't gonna do nothing. He probably sitting there. He's dropping soap. He don't got the rope.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
I'm gonna sit there straight up. What you doing, Suge Knight? You ain't shit. Get out of here. You in jail. Roast yourself.
I would say Suge Knight grabbed the belt, but dude too big. There ain't no size belt that could fit around that motherfucker.
Dang.
Motherfucker look like Wreck-It Ralph, but with no hair.
This makes it Wreck-It Ralph. I can't.
Y'all hitting the boy hands out here. What the heck?
Literally, dude, Suge Knight deadass look like Wreck-It Ralph with no hair. Like, can you imagine if Mr. Clean fused with Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh.
Okay, you going somewhere with that.
Dude, that's literally Suge Knight. Like, hello, Pixar, what are you doing?
Oh,
Bro,
God.
speaking of wreck it, this motherfucker is trying to wreck our podcast. Freaking hey, man.
I'm gonna.
Oh man.
Well,
Anything else, y'all? Do we have any others? Are we gonna wrap it up?
let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, yeah. As they said, this was a short episode. Flash is gonna be heading out with some family and stuff, so have some fun, man.
have fun, man.
Appreciate it. Hey,
Early in the morning, so.
Also, again, congratulations to CD for graduating. We didn't have him here last week, so
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was good to be back.
it's good to have him back. Shout outs to the crew too, because I gave them the choice whether to leave me out this episode or make it shorter, and they were like, no, we're gonna have the whole gang. So and I feel bad because I kind of talked for half the episode, but you
It's
know,
a good thing.
It's all good,
Because
man.
your ass has to go to he ain't gonna see you.
it's rare when a topic comes along where I'm like,
You rare when a topic comes along.
no,
You're
but seriously, shout outs to everybody, and yeah.
Happy holidays to everybody too. Holidays are
Yeah.
coming up,
Yeah.
and
Indeed.
by the
Happy
time
holidays, happy Hanukkah.
by the time we be back, it'll be right in the middle of that. So happy holidays to everybody in advance.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Happy Christmas. Yeah, Merry New Year and Happy Christmas, everyone.
Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate out there.
Whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you
Oh.
celebrate.
It'll be
Yeah,
happy.
whatever you celebrate, man. You want to, sit there and go down by a van, down by the river. You can do that too. You can go everywhere you want. You can do what you do.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this real quick before we end it, to remind all you beautiful people to follow our social media. You can follow us on all of our social media, Roast House PC on Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, and you can also follow us on Spotify with Roast House Podcast. You can find us. CD puts our episodes up on there for you guys to listen to. In my opinion, Spotify is my go-to for podcasts. Make sure you guys check us out there. If you go into our About section, you can see Flash, CD, Dino, Venge, and Fez, along with some links to the right of our names. Follow us on our Twitters, our individual Twitters. We put a lot of our personal stuff on there too, and we all have our own YouTubes and Twitches and stuff like that. If you guys are interested in gaming, Dino, Venge, CD, Fez, all of them, they all stream games. I'm a little bit slacking, but if you guys like Nintendo and you're not following them already and retro games, then make sure to hit them up. And that's just your weekly reminder to hit us all up on social media.
Twitch, the most important thing, so you guys can
yeah.
Right.
live.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
wanna catch us
Twitch
live.
is where the
Yeah,
action
shout out to
is.
Shots Fired. Fuck Kingdra, okay?
Also,
It's bad.
real quick, I'm gonna be getting.
Kingdra, he's an asshole.
Also, I'm gonna be getting things in the works with Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. It's been kind of slow because it's been the holidays, so trying to get that distributed on those platforms has been pretty slow. So I'm gonna try to work with those as soon as possible. But when that happens, I will be sure to put that on Twitter. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. So be sure to follow our Twitter page. So
Yeah.
Yo,
Here.
thank you guys for your support, man. Y'all were crazy again for this episode 3.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are
Good
killing.
people here. Good
Flash,
stuff.
do the slogan. Do the slogan, bro.
I'm
No.
not I'm not one to always bring stuff up, but we've had I try not to look at analytics, but we've had almost 400 people follow this Twitch since the first episode, and that blows my mind. You guys are
Holy
killing
cow.
The
Yo,
like-
we're
roast
like
with
two
the
off.
roast.
You're not
we're too
following.
off. Golly!
Fellow
Wait,
roasters
how
are
many
in
are we
the
on?
chat.
it. Dude, we are 2 off from 400. Yo, if you guys aren't following the stream, make sure you guys
Be
do
sure
that.
to follow now.
Yes,
We,
fellow roasters, follow.
When I
Hell
tell you
yeah.
guys, that we love this podcast, and it's the fact that it's something that we can all take a break from our work lives, our streaming lives, and everything, and just hop on this is just natural for us, man. We love this. This is literally the definition of a squad of friendship, hopping on and just chatting, and you guys listening, and that's awesome. I love this. So
Yeah, let's let it.
Yes, the hottest podcast with the chillest crew.
And one more thing too. I hope you guys. And one more thing too. I hope you guys like the new overlay now. You guys are able to see who's talking. Throughout the podcast. I know I've been hearing about that for the past 2 episodes and stuff, and trying to get all that stuff, and people want to see who's talking and what's going on with that. So the new overlay. Hope you guys like it. And if there's any other feedback, be sure to let me know, or any of us know. We'll be sure to tweak it. As we go along. But yeah, we are good over here.
Last podcast, y'all, for the year. Next week.
Yes, sir.
That's the last
Yeah,
one.
next
Yes,
week.
sir.
And then we're hitting 2020 with the other one.
2020 lit.
Heck of yeah.
2020, double digits and stuff.
We're never gonna have another year like that. That's crazy.
No
Yeah,
way.
2019, we're gonna wrap it up and probably we're gonna have some campfire stories probably.
Yeah,
Campfire
big
story.
Sum
wrap
up
it
that
up.
year.
Yeah.
Sum up this year, my guy.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be a great thing. So guys, tune in next week because next week will be the last podcast of the year. So, boom.
oh yeah.
Yee.
Yes. Double yeet.
All right. So Dino, you always open it if you want to give us a formal outro, and then
Yo, this man, you actually did it last time, but you know what? Okay. This is the outro.
want to put
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate it. Of course, follow the gang. You can find us at Roast House Cast on the team. Other than that, thank you guys for hanging out. We love y'all. Appreciate you hanging, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace and God bless.
Thank you.